Hi guys, this is Joanne. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make a Christmas layout using up scraps and stash. I got this idea from my girlfriend Karen with Yes Please Paper Crafts, and I tried one and I loved it, so I was going to do one on camera so y'all can see the idea. So we're going to be scrapping these two awesome photos. Look at little baby Evie. This is a simple stories frame that I had left over. And we're also going to use this photo of her, okay? So the first thing we're going to do to use up our scraps is we're going to take this picture. I already mounted it on a little white piece of paper with some red dots. And then we're just going to take this piece of scrap paper. I put it on something and then ripped it off so you can see it's all messed up, but I still like the paper and I don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to put that there. Get my scissors. This is a little bit too much here, so I'm just going to cut that off a little bit. And then we're going to take this piece of scrap. It's got holes in it. I've used it for page punches. And because I put a piece of paper on this side, I now want a piece of paper on that side. So I'm just going to do one strip of tape. Put that on there so you can just see it poking off the one right-hand side. And then we're going to just cut that right off on the bottom. Okay, put that back in our scrap stash. And then I thought that I would border the whole thing on this beautiful piece of paper. Everything I'm using today is from the Hip Kit Club, November 2019 and November 2020. Because this is just using stash and I have very, very little paper left. So I am using up my stash, and I thought it would be perfect for this layout. Usually I try to use a trimmer because I'm not very good at cutting paper straight, but that didn't turn out too bad. So there. So now we just use a whole bunch of scrap papers and everything looks beautiful, and we're using up our stash. So there's that. Get close. So see, it's pretty. Just put a bunch of papers together and cut them, and there you go. Nobody would ever know you use little pieces of scrap. We're going to use a white background today, and I am going to use up strips of scrap paper and branding strips. A lot of the companies put beautiful branding strips on the end of their 12 by 12s, and I never throw those away because you can always use them. So in order to have a guide for me to put things on straight, I'm going to do a light score, not a heavy one, at 2.5 inches. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and remove my scoreboard trimmer. And it's going to be hard to see this line on the video, but I know it's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get all my pieces of scrap paper, and I'm going to show them to you in 1 second. Here they all are. Just pieces of scrap paper from the kits for the past 2 Christmas seasons. And because I love the papers and because they're exclusives, I certainly don't want to throw them in the recycle bin because I can still use them and they're pretty. So my score is right there at 2.5 inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ATG tape and I'm going to go right down that score line. I'm going to put one in the middle, and then I'm going to put one on the very, very edge. Okay. Some free cat fur in there. No matter what I do, I can't do a layout without some cat fur. So anyways, so I'm just gonna, no rhyme or reason, I'm just gonna start grabbing my pieces of scrap paper, and it doesn't matter what they look like or how wide they are this way. Just start putting them down. It doesn't matter if they match, they don't match, because you can just cover, you can measure this all out if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Just start putting it down. Don't do any rhyme or reason whatsoever, and just put the paper down. all the paper is beautiful, so it really doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter how long it is. You don't have to pre-cut. I mean, you could certainly pre-cut all your scraps to 2.5 inches if you wanted to, but that would take a lot of time that is not necessary. So we're just going to keep adding scraps, and I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible. You can fast forward to the end. I'm not really good at editing videos yet, so we're going to leave this all in. It shouldn't take too long. And just start putting your scraps down. You don't have to be perfect right here on the edge. I'm just using that as a guideline because I'm going to take another piece of scrap paper and a branding strip and use that up to cover this and make it, and it'll be all straight and beautiful when we're done, so don't worry. So just make sure that you are not putting the same 2 pieces of pattern paper next to each other. You definitely want to space those out. Again, and if it's paper from the same collection, there's really, you don't have to think about it at all, because if it's from the same collection, 9 times out of 10, it's going to match. Just go ahead and keep putting papers down. Let me move this up. I don't want to be out of frame for the rest of this. Okay, thank you for your patience. So then I'm going to use this pretty pink one. And this one's pretty wide, so I'm going to think about maybe putting that in between those, so then it looks like it's different layers. I think I will do that, just so I don't waste that pretty pink paper. So put that right in the middle. There we go. So everybody doing good with their December layouts? And if you're doing a December documented, how cool is that? I'm almost done with mine. I've got one more page to do, I think, and that's it, and I'll be done. All right, so just a couple more pieces here, you guys, and we're going to be all done. I'm so excited. I love these hip kit papers so much. They're so beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and use, oh, let me see, maybe this one. Yeah, that'll be pretty. And then my last piece of paper, I'm going to go make sure that I have plenty of tape right there. And you can put these pieces of scrap right next to each other, like aligned, or you can just put them right on top of each other. You don't have to be meticulous about this at all. And that's all stuck down. So then what you're going to want to do is on the back of this, you'll see all your strips. So you just go ahead and take your cutting board. Then let me flip this because I had it over for the scoring. And then you're just going to put it in your cutting board and line it up. And just go ahead and cut right down. I'm going to go twice just in case. There's a lot of paper there. And if anything doesn't cut, you can use your scissors. And then take all your scrap, put it back in your scrap pile, so you can use it on another layout. I don't want to throw away perfectly good paper. Let me get that out of the way. Oh, look how pretty that is. Let me show you. It's so pretty. All right, so now we have that. So the next thing, I went ahead and made this border punch. It's just little snowflakes from Creative Memories, and then I put a branding strip behind it just so you couldn't see through it, because if you put it here and you could see through the holes, it would look funny. So I just wanted one solid color behind this, and then I went ahead and put it on some fun foam, so this would be higher than all these strips. So I'm going to go ahead and put some ATG on here. Let me do it twice just in case. And then I'm carefully going to just get this lined up here so it goes straight. There. And now you have a beautiful piece of paper with all that scrap pieces of paper used up. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it so much. All right, so with this, you can put it this way. You can put it this way. You can put it on the bottom. You can put it to the right. Whatever you want. I think I'm going to do one on the top today because I did one the other day with it on the side. I'll put a close-up of that other layout I did at the end of the video just so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, now we're going to bring our photos back so we can get this layout going. So I think I'm going to do this. Pretty. And then I'm going to put this picture here. So I'm going to put some fun foam under this so this is at the same level that this is at. So let's go ahead and do that. Get that cut down to size. Just on the bottom. Make sure I'm putting it in the right spot. Okay, so then now this is all even together. So I think that is adorable. Perfect. So I can put some tape here and here just to make sure that these are together where I want them to be. And then we can start tucking in our embellishments. And I just went ahead and pre-picked out some stuff I thought would be pretty in the layout. I'm trying to use up my stash, as I said. So I picked some stuff out and I'm going to force myself to use them. So first things first, I think that's good placement for the picture. So I'm not going to tape this down. I'm only going to tape a little bit of this behind because I want to be able to tuck things in. And just a little tip, when you use any frames, but frames like this, but any frames really, you want your picture to be behind it. If you want your picture behind it, you don't have to. You can put it on top. I always put it there, and then I put tape over it on the edges because it's easier than trying to tape the front of the picture to the frame. It's just a little trick for you. So I'm just going to put tape right in the middle of this just to keep it in place on my page. Because like I said, I want to tuck things in. So, let me get this in frame here. I want to be able to slip things underneath. Sure that's straight. Yep, looks good to me. And with this frame, it's been in my December drawer for probably over a year now, and there's a little bend in it. So I'm going to cover that up with something. So if you ever get a mark or a bend or in any of your embellishments, don't worry about it. You can still use it. So I have all these things that you can see here are just scraps. Like, I want to use these. You can't use anything else. Force yourself to use them. So I have a little frame. I was thinking about tucking that under here just to extend down more. Yep, I think that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on that and get that stuck down. All right. It's a good way to use up your frames because I use either 4x6 or 4x3 photos. I usually don't use photos that tiny in order to use that frame in any other manner. So I just tuck them in between, behind things. It makes it cute and it extends your page. All right, so let's work on a little cluster right in here. So I was thinking about using a bunch of Christmas trees. So let's see what we can come up with here, my friends. These are just Christmas trees from the ephemera pack, and I just want to keep using them. So it kind of looks like there's a bunch of trees out in the forest type thing. I think I want this one on foam squares, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some of those. Nope, wrong size. 1 second while I find the size that I want. I guess I'll just use these circle ones that I have. So I'm going to put this tree on some foam squares on the outside. It'll look cuter popped up. Put that to the side in case we decide we need those again. I'm going to tuck little pieces of tree maybe in there like that if it looks good. If not, I'll just leave it on the outside because it's not interfering with her face at all. Bring this down a little bit more. There. Now I have another tree here, so maybe if I put another tree here up on some foam squares, that would look good. But I'm going to tuck this one in because I think this one's prettier. I'm going to see what that looks like. This one's not jiving with me for some reason. So I'll just go ahead and put those in there. And I think I'll like this one better popped up too. So we'll go ahead and put some foam squares on this tree. Just a couple. And then kind of tuck the bottom of the tree into the photo so you can't see it. Or you could even cut the base off if you wanted to. Yeah, that's cute. Alright, let's see how that works out. I think I need another foam square on the very tip of this tree so it's at the same height and it looks good. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so there's that. Now let's think about what we can do over here. I'm going to go ahead and use this cute little penguin. Look at him, he's so cute. Put him over here. And just take this and maybe stick that behind there just to use up some of my scraps here. And I don't like how the base of this tree is just kind of floating. It's not really connected to anything. I'm going to put a little flower there. You can just use up your embellishments. It doesn't necessarily have to be any rhyme or reason to anything. These are, excuse me, fussy cut leaves from a piece of Pink Fresh Studio Christmas paper from, I think, 2018. So I'm just going to use those up as some additional embellishments and my scrap. So I just ripped the tip of that off because it was interfering with where I wanted to tuck it. So you can do that. Put this back on here so I know what I'm doing. And again, I want the penguin to cover up the bend in this frame that got bent while it was in my drawer. So we can put him there. And then I'm just going to keep tucking in some leaves until I think that I have enough, or take some away if I think I have too much. That's cute. All right, let's get this back in frame here. Pretty. I like that. I'm a little hesitant about using this because it's two different colored greens, so I'm not sure if I'm going to stick that down just yet. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? I have some cute green and red tassels I was thinking about putting on there, and I also have some of these. And I also have some pretty Bramble Fox hearts and this little snowman I got from Hobby Lobby I was thinking about using. We'll see where we end up going with this. So I do like these green leaves, so I'm going to go ahead and put some more foliage over on this side. See if that looks good. Yeah, that's cute. Alright. Got one more piece here. So let's see if we take this out because it's a different green and just tuck that over up in here. I think that might be better. I don't know why it was bothering me to have two different greens, but it was. So we'll just eliminate it. That's cute. I like it. And then I have a couple bows that I really wanted to use. I was thinking about putting a red one here. And then maybe putting a black one down here just to tie in the black of the papers up here, the black that's in this frame, and the black on the penguin. I think it's adorable. Oh, we got a little glare there. Sorry about that. All right, so I could put it on top of the picture, or I could put it just below the picture. Yeah, I think that's cuter. And then I always put like an enamel dot or a heart or something in the middle of the bows. These are the bows that that came with the hip kits, and they're in all separate pieces, and you just put them together yourself. They're so fun. So I'll put this down here. All right. Don't know what else I could use here. I might hang a tassel off this here somewheres. And then of course I'm going to go ahead and use my Pink Fresh Gems. I thought red, green, and the clear diamond color would be pretty. All right, I like this. I think I'm going to go ahead and start sticking this down. I wonder if this flower would look good in here or not. Let's just stick it in there, see if it works. If it doesn't, we can take it back out. Again, I am just trying to use up my scraps and my stash to make room for new collections. So we're going to go with this. I really like it a lot. I'm going to cut the bottom of this tree off, and I'm going to move my foam square because it was interfering. So we'll put that in like that. Perfect. All right, I'm going to start sticking some of this down so it looks pretty. We don't lose our spot. I'll go ahead and put some glue on the back of the penguin here. Take these leaves out, and again, I always just put glue on the bottom and then I tuck them in, because if you want it to have more dimension, you can also pop up the tips on some foam squares. And then if anything needs to be glued down at the end before you put it in your album, you can certainly go ahead and do that afterwards. Usually I do end up making sure everything is stuck down really well before I do add it to my albums, just for extra security. Once you get it in an album and on a page protector, you're probably safe, but especially if I'm making an album for somebody else, I usually end up using more adhesive than necessary just because you're giving it to somebody else. So I think that would look good there. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on this bow. I'm going to not touch that for a minute because this frame is like glossy, so it's going to take a minute for that to adhere. I do like the idea of that bow being down here though, so I am going to go ahead and glue that. My frame is already glued down, so I don't have to worry about that. Just grab this little tip here that I missed. Hold that for a second. Usually when I do layers like this, I glue in the layers underneath first and then build my way up. Take off the backs of the foam squares. Pop that up in here. Pretty. And another trick too is what you can do when you're putting little trees and things down is to use the little enamel gems as Christmas tree light bulbs, and it adds sparkle to your layout as well, which I always think is really cute. So I'm going to put that there. And again, I don't want this tree to just kind of be floating there, so I'm just kind of going to put a little flower there. It's not interfering with her face or her little cute little outfit, and it just covers it up a little bit. So that looks good. That is going to need a foam square underneath it, so it's at the same level. So once I get something stuck down and I need a foam square, I usually just grab it and then use my tweezers and put the foam square underneath. Now this one is up high enough that I would need 2 foam squares underneath there to make it stick properly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, perfect. So there's that. I like it. I think that needs 2 foam squares too underneath the star of that tree. It was down lower than the picture, so it didn't look right. So I'm going to go ahead and stick a second one under there. There, now that's perfect. Okay, good, good. What do you guys think? I have one more little piece of green thing here. So let's put that in there. Just using up my stash because I don't want to put this stuff back in my drawer. I want to use it. Get rid of it, right? I think this is adorable. Very, very cute. Put the top back on my glue so that doesn't glue shut on me. And then, like I said, I'm going to end up putting these tassels on here somewhere. I'm definitely going to put my gems all over the page because I love my bling. I'm probably going to put little teeny gems on the trees to make them kind of look like light bulbs. I'm going to put either these red dots, these little candy cane gems, or perhaps a bramble fox heart in the middle of my two bows here. I'll show you one really quick just so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I put a heart in the middle of my bow, how cute would that be? I don't think that's necessarily the right color red, so I might actually paint the top of my bramble fox heart with some Tonic Studio glitter paste, or I might decide to put the hearts around like that and use these gems in the middle of the bows. That would look really pretty too, but I would still put glitter paste on top of these hearts. So there's my layout, you guys. I always make my final touches and my last decision pieces off camera, so I don't have to make you guys watch that so long. So I'll put lots of close-ups at the end for you to see, and I hope that you like this layout. It's so cute, but think about doing that. Use up your scrap pieces and your stash to make a nice little border like this. You can make it be halfway across the page, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, whatever you want this to be. You can go ahead and do that. So close-ups at the end. I hope everybody